Hi, Mark T the Handyman here. Today we're going to change our paddles on our Power Clear 721R Toro Snowblower. What happens here is as the paddle is scraping the snow and throwing it against the cement or a driveway, whatever you have, it starts to wear down. The way you'll notice that is that it won't throw as far and it just is not as efficient as a machine. So you have to change them every so often. These might not be as bad as they could be, but they're worn, so we're going to change them. One of the things that I would suggest, because these are exposed to the weather, is just spray a little bit of WD-40 or some kind of a light oil on there. It doesn't take a lot, and you can do both sides. You have the nut on this side, and then you have the bolt on this side. Now that we've sprayed both sides, what we're going to do is we're going to take these out, and that'll take these pieces of metal out here that hold it in the center. They'll come out, and then we'll take the side panel screws out. The size of the nuts and bolts on the center plate is 7/16 on both sides. So I have two 1/4-inch socket wrenches, one to hold onto the back nut and one to loosen the bolt on the other side. What we have is 4 short bolts on the outside of the plate, and the center bolt that holds onto the shaft is about twice as long as the 4 that hold the plate together. Now it's time to take the paddles off. There's 4 screws in each of these, and we're just going to take those off one at a time. On the paddles, it's a little bit different. They have a star fitting here, and then they got the 7/16 on the back. So we're going to use this to get these off. Let's see, right there. All right, so that one came off, and that's what we're talking about. It's right there. So we'll get the rest of those off, and we'll put the paddle in place. Okay, so we have removed the nuts and the bolts from the paddle. The paddle comes off fairly easy. Now we are going to install the new paddle and then remove the other paddle. So here is the new paddle. First, we will attach this side. There are 2 screws on each side. I suggest doing the nut and the bolt that's closest to the frame, and then do the one on top. So now we've got the new paddle installed on that side, and now we're going to install this side. By the way, we're doing this on my F-150 because I have bad knees and I'm getting old and I can't bend down as easily. So this is the only bench I have is on my F-150 tailgate. Let's see. There we go. And then we'll just do the other side. Okay, we got one more to go and we're done with removing. Here we go, we got it. Now we'll get the new paddle and put it back in place.
So just to give you a little view of what we're up against, as we attach these nuts and bolts, we have 2 nuts and bolts on each side. I always do one side at a time, and then I start with the hole that is closest to the frame. That is the one that's a little more difficult because of the lack of space. We've got the 2 paddles attached. Now it's time to put the cover plates back on. Remember that the outside holes are smaller 7/16 nuts and bolts, and the center hole that attaches to the shaft is the longer 7/16 bolt.
Okay, here we've got our new blades on. By the way, all the nuts are locking nuts. So I got all the nuts and bolts nice and tight. Like I told you before, the nuts are lock nuts, so they're going to stay tight. You also want to tighten just enough where they compress the rubber blade, and then that way you know they're tight. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up or a like. If you want to watch more of my videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.